right, we are joined here today in the Guitar Player offices by Mr. Ronnie Montrose. And our readers know you probably first and foremost from the band that bears your name, but that's not your only gig. When people first heard you, that was when you were playing with Van Morrison. Is that pretty much?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so what are some of the tunes that people can hear you playing on that you did
Well,
with Van
the one
Morrison?
thing that I did with Van, it's not going to be super clean, but we were recording, we were rehearsing at his place, and he had written the song Wild Night, and I was just screwing around in the rehearsal, and I went. And that became, Van looked at me and says, "That's the intro, don't forget it," you know. And I never did, you know. It was one of those things, you know, just little things like that just come out. There was no reason for it, it just happened, you know. Yeah.
Okay, and so after people got a taste of your playing from that, you got a chance to stretch out in a big way when you played with Edgar Winter.
Correct.
After that. And
Yeah.
so, like, Free Ride, Frankenstein, that's you.
Exactly.
And They Only Come Out at Night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so let's... And so it's an uncommonly huge tone for the time. And that's something that I think a lot of players that knew would look to you for back then, was getting these big, huge sounds. And I think we all got that in a big way on the first Montrose record. And so, like the Van Morrison stuff, that was a Ted Templeman production.
Correct.
He's been known to craft some pretty humongous guitar tones throughout his career. But how did you get the guitar sounds on that record?
People, I mean, guitar players come to me all the time, and they say, "Oh, so you had a stack of Marshalls and the whole thing in the studio." I had a lowly little 310 Fender Bandmaster, three Jensen 10-inch speakers. I bought it at a yard sale for $90, and it was a 40-watt amp. I had because the tone I got was out of those little speakers and that little 40-watt amp. But I bought three other Jensen speakers, Jensen 10s, because it was full out. It was just full on, all, you know, full volume up, and I had to have the speakers in rotation. So I had a set that was always reconed at Anderson's Reconing in Berkeley, California. And so I would, when it would finally they wear out, because that's the only way you can get that tone out of those speakers is to run them full bore. So I had three other ones with my name on them that every time they would start to get tired, I'd take them in and get the new set, the Recone set, and put the other ones in.
Okay, and so there was
and
no...
it's a 40-watt amp.
No distortion box, no nothing. That's
Nope.
just that amp, flat out.
Nope.
And what was your guitar back then?
I had probably like a early 70s, 60s Les Paul. I had a couple of Les Pauls.
Okay.
And I did use a Big Muff fuzz tone when I recorded Bad Motor Scooter.
Okay.
That was once again through the same bandmaster, but to get that super fuzz tone, you know, I was just screwing around one day. We actually weren't sure the song was going to be on the record, and I was just sort of screwing around with an open D tuning slide and hit the I don't have, you know, it's not tuned now, but it's like, and Ted Templeman and Don Landy said, "Stop, stop, stop." They ran and got the tape. They put it on because it just sounded so perfect for the song, but we weren't really intending it to be that way. But it just happened. So, but
Okay.
it was a Big Muff fuzz tone.
Well, that record and the riffs on that record made a huge impact on a lot of heavy players, and it sort of gave rise to a big part of the Van Halen scene. I think a lot of the riffs that you hear subsequently on Kiss records or Aerosmith records seem like they might very well have had roots in some of the stuff that you
Eddie
did.
told me that when I first met him, that it was that first Montrose record that caused him to go to have Ted produce their record.
Yeah, and he loved that tone, and they I think would play Montrose tunes back in their bar days. I've seen him play Make It Last live with Van Halen.
Yep.
And so let's hear some of the riffs from that record.
Now this one is we were rehearsing at Studio Instrument Rentals, and this was we were such huge Zepp fans that Danny Carmassi was playing When the Levee Breaks, some sort of version of that, and it just came out of my head. I went. And that song, and we went back the next day. We go, what was that? If we didn't have our cassette player going, I had a little cassette player that I recorded. I would have never remembered that. So Rock Candy would have never existed.
Okay.
If I hadn't have recorded it the day before, because riffs are riffs. They come out. If you don't remember it the next day, it's not a song anymore.
Okay, now a huge part of that riff is that slide you just did. That. And so, how are you doing that? Because it's not a pick drag.
And I have no idea why I did it, but I just like the way it sounded. So it's like the little fingers like up there, going up on the high strings, and then the big.
And it's got just a very unique kind of. And was that double tracked or triple tracked in the studio?
No, just one take.
Yeah. Well, nobody does that with exactly that kind of sound.
I don't know why I did
that's
it.
a very
just
unique
happened.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So other riffs that we love off that record include like "Rock the Nation."
Simplest on the planet. Just it's easy.
And now, is that something that you do a lot? Instead of playing a power chord with a root and a fifth, you'll voice them in fourths like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and
because
also,
the Frankenstein riff looked like it was doing
Same
the
thing.
same thing.
Same thing. But also, Space Station Number 5 is the same. I have guitar players that come to me and I tell them they try to figure out my riffs. And I tell them that you always remember to take the polar route, the path of least resistance.
Okay.
That's what I call it, the polar route.
Okay.
There's no reason. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It's just playing, And same thing with Space Station Number 5. It's like just ones and fives, like. Just ones and fives. That's what I do.